Welcome back on my YouTube channel, Monday to Monday. I'm finally back on my boat. Today I'm going to do some work here. I am planning to remove the ceiling of the wheelhouse to expose all the wiring that's above it and remove the insulation because my whole wheelhouse was imprisoned because it was in isolation. Alright, let's get started. First thing of the day, coffee. I got the generator running. It was a little bit smoky, so it was about time that that thing is running again. So I'm going to let it warm up. I have a heater on in the wheelhouse, so it's a nice temperature to work in. And now I'm going to drink my coffee and think about how I'm going to tackle this project. As soon as I remove the ceiling of the wheelhouse, then the bare metal is exposed, and that means we can count on condensation on the ceiling because there's no insulation anymore. So I want to try to get everything out and put some form of insulation back in the ceiling just to prevent moisture from building up and messing up the dash and everything. So for me that's the scary part, because I don't know what's above this ceiling and how rotten it is, or it's perfectly fine, I don't know. So I have to find out, and the person I am, I think that's scary, and it's a step away from a finished boat, so it's always a thing in my head. I don't know what you guys have with your project. Are you buying your boat or your vehicle or whatever and just rip everything out, no problem? Or hesitation, because I got hesitation. Okay, I'm going to drink my coffee because it's getting cold now. As you can hear, it's a little bit noisy because the generator is running, and I leave it running because I want it to heat up. The temperature here is like in the summer, really warm, so that's good. I'm going to start with removing all the accessories or all the things that are mounted onto the ceiling, like those things, lighting, this. It needs to come off, and then I'm going to search for a beginning because I can't see any screw, and I think they started on this side, worked their way to this side, because I think the thingy-majiggies are latched together like this. So what I'm going to do as well is number every piece of wood, because it gives me a template for the new ceiling when I'm putting them all together, if I get them out in one piece. And I hope so, because then I got the template. Well, the talking ends here because it's too noisy. So I'm putting up the camera somewhere and let's start the work.
Honey, baby,
I got the first part of the ceiling out, and there's a lot of good news. And one less gooder thing, I can't get them out in one piece. So that was a nice illusion, but maybe I can get some measurements out of them, but I think I have to start all over, and that's no problem anyway, so that will be fine. I figure it out. The good news is all the wood that I'm finding to so far, so the constructional parts of the ceiling where the ceiling is attached to, is really good. Not rotten in any way. A little bit over here, but what can you expect? So I think I can reuse that, and I'm really happy about it because I'm not a carpenter. So anything I don't have to do with wood, I'm really happy about. Not that I don't like working with wood, but I'm simply not so good at it. Alright, another good thing is that everything is attached with nails. So they come out really easy. I just pull them and they're coming out. So yeah, the old timer that installed this ceiling really knew what he was doing. So that's a good thing, because I can reuse some of his work. And another good thing, for now the insulation stays where it is, and I got a plan, because I just take a piece of fabric and staple it over the wood, so that the fabric keeps the insulation in place. For all the Australian people that are watching, I'm listening to the Cat Empire, one of my favorite bands. Super cool band. Thank you, Australia, for a super cool band. The first wiring is coming out, and that's good because it will clean up tremendously. It's unbelievable, but nothing is rotten in the ceiling. It's all in perfect good nick. So I'm going to replace the insulation. But not now, of course, because it's hanging on and it prevents a lot of moisture coming into the wheelhouse. So I'll leave it in for now. But the most important thing that I'm really happy about, now all the junk is off the ceiling, and it's sort of a light color because it's yellow insulation. The wheelhouse is looking bigger. It's more spacious now. So the ceiling will be a little bit off-white, beige, maybe, something like that. A light color. So I can already see it in my head. It's going to be so super nice. All right, I'm going to remove those cables and everything that's attached to it, because I'm not going to use it anymore. And then I'm going to tell you an idea that I have with the windows. So hang on. So I removed the old junction box from the wall, and I'm going to keep this thing because this is such a cool old piece of quality, and it's easily reusable. I'm probably going to find a good spot and a good purpose for it. So it's going into the save it bin buck thing. I'm going to save it. So here we got the wiring. You see all these wires. This is not going to be reused anymore. Well, nothing is going to be reused, but I need to know what those three are for. And I think I know. This is simply 24 volt feed wire. I think it's not 220 volt because I tested it, so probably 24 volt. And there is a good chance that those two wires go into the rudder, to the solenoids of the hydraulic rudder. And the reason I'm thinking that is because there was an autopilot in this boat, and everything in the wheelhouse, they simply cut it out, but everything in the engine room is still there. So I think that these two wires are going to the solenoids of the rudder. That's for another day, of course, but I'm not simply going to cut them off. I just wait and have someone here to help me measure what is what. I'm going to start the generator back up because I need coffee and my solar panels are still down. Oh, that's another job I need to do. And after the coffee, I'm going to remove all the nails out of the ceiling. First coffee. Cool. The nails are out, so I cannot hurt my head against some nails that poking out. This is perfect. Everything is in real good shape, so I'm really happy. And I got a plan with the windows. This is the situation. This is aluminum, about 5 centimeters probably. So I already explained that I want to bolt some wood to this. Now I see that I did that in the ceiling as well. So I want to do that here so I can insulate this. But the windows are one layer of glass. So what I wanted to do is get all the windows out, make molds for the windows to make new frames that coming to here. So I can put a double layer glass in it. I already called a company, they can make it. It's not so super expensive, so that's super cool. And between this, all around the wheelhouse, all those, how you call this, pillars or I don't know, there needs to be insulation here. So this is going to be completely closed up. And then the windows are a little bit smaller. And what I was thinking, maybe it's an idea to find someone, and maybe I know someone, to 3D print this. So till here, that you can put your window in from the outside and seal it. And then I got a wheelhouse that's completely insulated. And that's what we want. Kitchen here, that's still the plan. The window frames can be wood. That would be nice, But that's maintenance. And if I'm finding someone who can print them, that would be cool too. Because then I don't have maintenance and I can just paint it in the color of the wheelhouse. I don't know. What are your thoughts about it? Let me know in the comments, because I'm really curious what you guys have to say about this. Oh. So now I need to get started on the wiring in the ceiling. For what I can see now, it's not so bad, and it's all copper. So copper is copper, and it's still shiny copper, so that means it's good. Maybe I can reuse something, or a lot of things. I'm all about reusing copper because we all know what the cost of copper is. And I'm going to remove a lot of junk probably. I started with removing old junk. There's some antenna cable. I found a leak in the roof, so that's a good thing. There are a lot of flies in here. I don't know where they come from, but they're between the wheelhouse and the insulation. And as soon as I started removing the insulation, moisture. So I got it over here. Going to put it back before I'm going home. But I'm getting some old junky wires out. So it cleans up a little bit. There is so much rust down here. The bolts are in the metal now because the rust is coming around the bolt. It's okay here. You can see that I can touch underneath the bolt, and this is completely rotted. And there's the same story. So something is going on there. I have to investigate. Here you can see the chunks of rust that are coming off. But someone told me for every centimeter of rust, you lose 1 millimeter of steel. So I know this wheelhouse is 8 millimeters thick. So if that's so, I'm not worried. I'm not worried anyway. But I have to do something about it because this is not okay. And I think it's coming from the inside. And I think that it has to do something with insulation because everything is wet. I'm still looking and removing rust. Alright, it's not as good as I thought because I can look outside and it's not through the window. Let me show you. So I was removing some rust because it's all wet, and I thought, well, I remove it now, then it can dry a little bit and I can assess the damage. And while I was doing that, I just poked a hole in the wheelhouse. So small hole, that little hole is not the issue, of course, because I can weld it shut or whatever. But it tells me I need to go around the whole wheelhouse to check everything. But more important, find out why it happens. And I got a good idea because it's a aluminum top of the wheelhouse on the steel bottom of the wheelhouse. So electrolysis is probably the issue. Right. Alright, so I left the rust alone. I am tracing some wires and I found this monstrosity. Whoa! That's a multi-cable with a lot of wires in it, and it's going to the roof, through the roof, outside with another cable. So I'm not going to use it for sure. So now we're going to look on the roof what's going on there. So we are on the roof. Look at the view. Super cool. Alright. So what I'm finding underneath the roof is this cable and the other monstrosity is probably inside this little thing. So I'm really glad, because this adds height to my boat. So I want it gone, that it gets lower. This thing needs to be gone. I can simply cut it off. So we got room for more solar panels here. And this thing needs to go. And then we got this little thing there. That's where the compass was. They stole the compass before I owned the boat. So no compass anymore. So we can remove that as well, and I just close all the holes in the roof. But first we can rip out the wires and clean it up downstairs. This was probably a real important wire, but not anymore, because I'm not going to use it. The other one, I can't get it out, so I have to push it through from upstairs. So I'm going to do that. All the junk is in my van. I'm going to get something to eat and to drink. It's 3 o'clock already. I have to go to the store. So see you tomorrow. Good morning. Back on the boat. It's the next day, obviously. Yesterday I tried to put the insulation back in the ceiling. Wouldn't work, it fell straight down again. So I got some leftover insulation from my home project. Going to try to put that insulation in. Oh my. And see how much condensation is in the wheelhouse now. I think it is really bad. So let's take a look. Not so bad. I was expecting worse. I'm going to start the generator back up, turn on the heater, make it nice and warm here, open the windows, make sure that all the moisture can escape the wheelhouse, and then I'm going to put the new insulation in, and I'm going to throw the old insulation away. It's getting warm already. My little heater is doing its job very well. I'm going to let it warm up for about half an hour. I think the condensation will be evaporated by then. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to throw all the old insulation outside and into my van, so I can throw it away at home. Yesterday I forgot to wear a respirator. So today I thought about a respirator. Left it at home. Yeah. And while I'm saying this, in the corner of my eye, I see one hanging right here the whole time. everything is clean again. I thought let's end this episode with a cleanish wheelhouse. It was such a mess and I couldn't work in it anymore. The old installation is over there. I still have to put it into my fan, but I'm going to leave it with this. Next week you're going to see me putting some temporary okay, insulation into the ceiling, and next week I'm going to remove this boat. This boat is going to the junkyard because it's leaky and I gave up. Okay, I gave up. And we got this boat still in the water with water in it, and this is a heavy boat and there is water underneath the bottom plate. That's going to be something else. I think I'm going to winch it out with a winch and hope for the best. So, thanks for watching. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you got something to say or something learnful for me. And of course, as always, I hope to see you next week. Later.